We are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. Lesbian Visibility Week, baby! April 22nd through 28th celebrates lesbian diversity, amplifying voices in a world where LGBTQ+ rights are under attack.
New study unveils top 10 LGBTQ+ friendly cities globally. From Paris to Lisbon, surprising havens for queer travelers have been revealed. Surprise, surprise, the U.S. only has one city on the list.
New survey finds LGBTQ+ issues are not top priority for queer voters. So what are top issues for the November election?
New Title IX rules protect transgender students' rights. Now Biden and the Department of Education steps in on August 1st to stop GOP states on bathrooms and pronouns.
Culture war heats up in the elections. Though DeSantis' anti-woke stance flops, experts predict strife over cultural war issues will continue.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ+ daily evening television news broadcasting live and then available on demand. Available on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time to queer up the news for Monday, April 22nd, 2024. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ+ evening news show. Whatever happens unique in LGBTQ+ news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots Magazine Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ+ community. Our mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our queer culture: the Black community, Latino, lesbians and queer women, trans, students, youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ+ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. In 2024, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ+ experience, in our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ+ and broader community.
That's right, Nico. And let's meet tonight's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's begin by welcoming anchor Dr. Tai Houser. Woo-hoo! He's a professor of English and Humanities at Broward College. What, do you teach people how to be human? Because they need to know that. Is that what humanities is?
I prefer to be dancer. If I'm human or dancer, I'm going to be dancer.
Okay, I like dancer. All right. He teaches at College of Business at Florida Atlantic University. He has served as visiting professor at colleges in Bolivia, Brazil, China, India, and Spain, and provides an international viewpoint. Tai, the Lost Boys, and Peter and the Starcatcher are coming to FAU from June 14th to 29th. You got to tell me what's happening.
Sure. Well, I don't know if you know this or not, but one of our favorite South Florida authors, Dave Barry, and
Dave Barry, yes!
And Ridley Pearson wrote a book in 2004 about kind of a retelling of how Peter Pan became Peter Pan. And then they put it, they didn't. Another group of folks put it together on stage, won a couple of Tony Awards, and FAU is going to be doing it as part of their summer stock. So it's FAUevents.com. It'll be running for approximately 2 weeks, and tickets reasonable, $27.
That's not bad.
So great night of theater, retelling, funny, Peter Pan. Come to FAU and see it.
Oh, for sure. We're going to love that. Nico's going to be there for sure. And speaking of Nico, let's welcome Nico Cales. He's a passionate learner and leader. He loves connecting with people, exploring new places, and creating meaningful memories. Nico is currently pursuing an MBA in marketing. I love Nico. He has such a breath of fresh air, right? I was blessed to meet him maybe about a year ago and just came up to him and be like, "Hi, I'm Nico. This is what I do. This is what I want to do. This is who I want to help. This is what I want to," and I'm like, okay, yes, anything you want. Welcome back to the Queer News Tonight table, Nico. Love to have you and your spirit and your youthfulness. I'm hoping I look a little younger after spending some time with you, like osmosis.
I'm happy to be back. This is very, very fun for me.
Awesome.
And of course, this is tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She is a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of the FayWhat Show on Mondays. Faye, you're hosting the Outshine closing night ceremony, film and party on April 28th. Tell me what's happening.
Yes, so Sunday the 28th caps off our Miami festivities of the Outshine LGBTQ Plus Film Festival, and it's the closing night audience and jury awards ceremony. A featured Italian movie, Mascarpone, The Rainbow Cake, and the grand finale, the South Beach Group Closing Night Party. So join us as we celebrate the end of an unforgettable series of events with a touch of Italian flair. Enjoy light bites and complimentary Tito's drinks. You know we love the Tito's drinks as we wrap up in style. Movie starts at 6 p.m. at the Regal South Beach, and the after party is at the Miami Beach Women's Club. All right, so get your tickets today at OutshineFilm.com. See you then. We are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast, and here are the bullet points of the queer news for today. First thing this evening, let's begin by queering up lesbian culture. Here is the importance of representation of Lesbian Visibility Week. Tonight, we're diving into why Lesbian Visibility Week, running from April 22nd to April 28th, matters more than ever. Lesbian Visibility Week shines a spotlight on the achievements, struggles, and diversity of lesbian and queer women worldwide. Representation is vital, and Lesbian Visibility Week plays a significant role in amplifying the voices and experiences of lesbians. This year, the importance of representation is particularly poignant. In a world where LGBTQ plus rights are under attack in many places, including the gayest place on earth, South Florida, visibility becomes a powerful form of resistance. It sends a clear message that lesbians exist, that we matter, and that lesbians deserve to be seen and heard. Seeing lesbians of diverse cultures from across the world celebrating their identity and existence can have a profound impact on self-esteem, mental health, and a sense of belonging. Women are marginalized in insidious ways as they face rejection as queer, and they face society issues of just being a woman. Those combinations include less income, greater health risks, rejection in corporate leadership roles, and a whole lot more. So this Lesbian Visibility Week, we are going to make some noise, power through, and spread some love like only we lesbians can. Because when it comes to lesbian visibility, nothing is too much. You know, Lesbian Visibility Week is not something that I always celebrated, right? It wasn't until maybe about 4 or 5 years ago that the Pride Center was doing something, right? And I was like, wait a minute, that's me, proud lesbian. I'm so used to going to events that are for the boys, right? Or I'm so used to being the only lesbian or the only queer woman at the table, you know? And so things like this are so important for that spotlight, to remind people that lesbians are part of the community. We are the first letter in the acronym. Back in the 80s and 90s, during the AIDS epidemic, and we were the ones helping the gay men, trying to get through life when they were shunned by their family, you know?
Like if it weren't for lesbians, gay men, we'd still be out there flustered and screaming.
But it's, you know, I mean, again, you know, we're part of this community, and sometimes we're so divided, you know, in our own letters, you know? I surround myself by gay boys, and I'm constantly telling other gay boys, like, do you have a lesbian in your life? You should have one. And I tell my lesbian girls, like, you need a gay boy in your life. Trust me, go find one, you know? So I want to take a moment to also just give a big shout out to some of the lesbians in our community here in South Florida that have inspired me and make me want to be a better lesbian, you know, like Carol over at 9F, or Carol Wartenberg from the Lesbian Thespians, or Josie Malave over at Bubbles and Pearl, Chef Josie, you know? These women are Jacqueline Lorber over at the South Florida Symphony. Like, these women are powerhouses. Claudia Castillo, one of the most incredible artists I've ever met in my life in Wilton Manors. These women, they shine. They're out there saying, I'm a lesbian, see me roar. I will not leave your face until you see me. And those are the women that inspire me. I want to be like them when I grow up, you know?
I mean, to amplify the voice of lesbians, I think maybe, Faye, we just need to buffer yours a little bit.
Just calm myself.
But in all fairness, Faye, I mean, you have to take some credit here too, because you are one of those voices in the community. You're out there, loud, proud, you know, saying your truth, and you know, being a role model for all of the other little lesbians that are coming up through.
Oh.
So, you know, not just the women that you shouted out to, but we're going to shout out to you as well.
Oh.
Yeah, and gay boys, lesbians are not scary. They don't like come and get you in the middle of the night. So go out, visit a lesbian business, go to Home Depot and take one a flower. Do something.
Rent a U-Haul just to be one of us,
But do something this week to get to know your lesbian counterparts. Read something from the ancient Sappho, the first lesbian poet from ancient Greece, and discover what that means for us as a humanities culture.
Completely. Nico, what do you think?
Personally too, I feel protected when there is a lesbian in the room. Like, say you're at a club, you're just out and about, and there's that one lesbian that is just watching over you. It's very, you have somewhat of like a safe haven when you're with lesbians.
Yeah, it's kind of like a mother thing, right? Like, it's just like, okay, I'm gonna be safe. She's gonna build my IKEA shit, and she's always gonna make sure that I get to my car, right? Like, But I mean, again, it's an election year. There's so many. Our community, they're coming for us entirely. It's not just one letter, right? And so when we think about things like this that spotlight one of the letters in the acronym, it really encompasses all of us, right? Because we're all in this together. When Roe versus Wade was overturned and I was out there in the streets screaming for my reproductive rights, right? You gay boys should have been out there too. And this year we're voting, we're making our votes count towards that goal, towards not having men decide what women do with their bodies, go figure. So Lesbian Visibility Week Day, make sure that you go find your favorite lesbian and let them know that they are seen, they are loved, and they are important to you.
Absolutely. Next, we're going to queer up the worldview. New report shows the top 10 most queer-friendly cities in the world, and only one is from the United States. Esmil.com, renowned for female-to-male prosthetics, unveils the top 10 LGBTQ plus friendly cities around the globe. Their study, analyzing marriage equality, safety, queer nightlife, and more, includes data from the 2023 Global Index. Surprisingly, some famed LGBTQ plus destinations missed the mark, and some surprising cities got a place on their list. Here's the list, revealing unexpected havens for queer and trans travelers. Paris clinches the 10th spot on the list of top LGBTQ plus friendly travel destinations worldwide. It has over 30 queer clubs and bars. Despite Japan's stance on marriage equality, Tokyo secures 9th place. The city has over 40 LGBTQ plus nightlife venues and a notable safety record. Toronto, Canada ranks 8th, excelling in the Global Trans Index, followed by Reykjavik securing 7th place, and Barcelona claiming the 6th rank. Barcelona claims 30 plus queer venues and hosts events like the Circuit Festival and Gay Pride. Ranked 5th on the list is Taiwan's capital, Taipei. It offers a safe environment for queers, topping all other cities on the list. It boasts 30 vibrant queer nightlife venues. Next, Amsterdam in the Netherlands secures 4th place. It legalized same-sex marriage in 2001. Next up, New York City, ranking 3rd globally for LGBTQ plus friendliness, and is the only American city to make the top 10. Copenhagen takes 2nd place, but unfortunately offers limited queer nightlife. And what may come as a surprise to that LGBTQ destination of Lisbon, Portugal, claiming the top spot. Lauded for safety and LGBTQ plus acceptance, with the highest global index rating among cities on the list. In 2024, it's time to get out and into our LGBTQ plus world. And I'm ready to make that travel happen. I've not been back to my regular traveling, and it needs to happen. So I see this as being a place to start on my list. I've never been to Lisbon.
An invite, yeah.
Yeah.
And Lisbon has been popping up a lot in our like gay social media. Like, I see a lot of our gay boys going out there to Portugal.
Yes.
And I'm like, I never knew it was a LGBTQ plus destination. And you said they're number 1?
Number 1.
Holy crap. Okay. And you're an avid traveler. Have you been to all these other places? Have you been to Taiwan? Have you been to Tokyo?
So I've not been to Tokyo or Taiwan. I've been to Paris. I've been to Amsterdam, kind of the big cities. I've been to Barcelona. Nico, I think you've been to Barcelona too.
Yeah, I studied abroad in Barcelona, and it was awesome. Very gay. Chueca, the little neighborhood in Barcelona. And then also Sitges was like, oh my gosh, this is like another Wilton Manor.
And Sitges is like a beach town also, right? Not far from Barcelona.
It's like a 20, 30-minute train from Barcelona to Sitges. So
I fell in love in Barcelona. It was New Year's Eve, and there was a naked Spanish guy climbing the Columbus statue, throwing champagne at the crowd. And I was just stood there. I was like, yes, please, Daddy.
Oh
At the
my
time, I was a lot younger then. Oh
my God. I love
Gorgeous.
this. Are you surprised about, I'm not surprised about Toronto. You know, Canada's been
very friendly.
so friendly. I love their prime minister. He's freaking adorably cute. Were you surprised by any of these cities? New York being the only one?
I was surprised that New York was the only one. I sort of thought San Francisco would make it before New York. But that's that. I was a little surprised with Japan, though, as well, because, you know, they're very conservative culture, and they have a lot of, you know, traditions that are steeped in history. So it seems interesting that they would be that progressive in terms of their support for LGBTQ traveling.
But I love that, like you said, that they gave us a list, right? Now we can start marking off these great places. Nico, you and me are actually going back to Barcelona. We're not going together, right? We should be going together, but we're both going on cruises there. Do you try to pick places that are LGBTQ plus friendly to go to?
Yes, definitely. This one specific cruise was like, oh my gosh, Barcelona. I know it was going to be a great trip. I know that there's a stop in Ibiza as well. So, and Palma Mallorca. So, I don't know, just Spanish men are delicious. Yeah. And like the dark skin, the Catalan skin. I'm very excited for this cruise that's coming up. And for me, it's in September, but I know you're...
Yeah, but it's on the list. It's on the list, you know? Like, I would have never expected Barcelona to be so high up there, but they are.
Well, and I think we've also learned about Nico's fetishes.
What are they? Okay, more on that later. All right, well, make sure that you go and visit these places. I mean, go to places that support us, folks, okay? And one more thing, I loved Emisil. I love that they are an F2M prosthetics company doing a survey like this.
Right?
Like, how cool is that? Follow them on social media. Next, let's queer up politics. New survey shows LGBTQ plus issues are not the top concerns for queer voters in November election. LGBTQ plus issues may not be the main focus for queer voters in the upcoming November election, according to a new survey. Data for Progress new study revealed that LGBTQ plus issues aren't the most important things on queer voters' minds leading into the November general elections. For example, 57% of respondents had a favorable view of the Democratic Party and 51% of Biden. 20% had a favorable view of the Republican Party and 22% of Trump. 52% of trans respondents said the Biden administration is doing worse than expected. 70% of LGBTQ plus who identify as Democrats say the Democratic Party should be doing more to protect queer Americans from anti-LGBTQ plus legislation. The younger the respondent, the more likely they felt that way. Top election issues for queer adults in November election are the economy, jobs, inflation, other, and LGBTQ plus civil rights. The survey suggests LGBTQ plus voters are not single issue voters and may be especially focused on economic issues since LGBTQ plus workers continue to earn about 90 cents for every dollar heterosexual workers earn. The majority of LGBTQ plus voters, regardless of age, said they believe that neither the Republican nor the Democratic parties care much about people like them. Only 61% of LGBTQ plus voters felt enthusiastic about voting in the 2024 election. That enthusiasm was lowest among younger voters. Zeke Stokes, a GLAAD consultant, provided context of these results, saying, quote, overall, the reason that LGBTQ people seem to vote in large numbers for Democrats is because, unfortunately, today's Republican Party has made LGBTQ equality a partisan issue. There are LGBTQ people on all places of the ideological perspective when it comes to what we would traditionally consider conservative to liberal in this country. But we've got one party, unfortunately, who's put a target on our backs in order to appeal to a minority of their base, end quote. Wow, a lot to unpack there, boys. A lot to unpack there. You know, this is an election year and it's super important and we're constantly screaming from this table about how important voting is. So it makes me sad to think that more people around Nico's age, right, are basically like, hey, both parties don't represent me. Both parties don't give a shit about me. So I'm not going to vote at all. You know what I mean? You know, some people honestly think that way. And you know, it's a scary time. And the younger, the more that they kind of resist Biden coming in to be our president once again. I'm curious as to what you both boys think. Nico?
I do hope that my generation, the Gen Z generation, does step up and realize that, hey, I mean, if you don't vote, like, there's no change that's going to happen. So I hope it, gets better and we kind of come together and like move forward into building a better future for all of us in the future. So it's very important for us to keep it going.
Do you think that people are delusional, Tai? Like some people, I mean, look, 22% favorable of Republican Party and favorable of Trump.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't get enough for 4 years. Did we not get enough? Like,
I don't know. Who are those 22% of people? Because I need to smack them.
Get in line.
Get in line. So speed is the modern disease, right? And it's kind of been that way since the Industrial Revolution. And I think what we have are like a group of people, Nico's age, who are used to speed. Things happening very, very quickly.
Like and we had to go look for information in our day. Like they can just Google and know right then
and they got it. And the fact that it takes a long time for change to happen is built into the system. Right? Bureaucracy is there for a reason, and it's to sort of make us be more pragmatic and reflective about how and why we do things. But the desire to have things done right away is maybe supplanting that need for bureaucracy, or maybe not supplanting the need for bureaucracy, but replacing it. And so it's interesting how kind of these things are coming in, these two ideologies are coming in and clashing with each other. I just hope that the folks that want that hurried change come out and vote for the way things should change. Because regardless, as long as we have a two-party system, and we can argue all day whether that's good or bad, or whether, this is that and the other thing, it's what we have at the end of the day. And that's what we have to vote with at the end of the day. Do we want to change it? Sure. If you want to change it, go out there and work to change it. But you can't abandon what we have unless you have something to replace it with.
Yeah. So Nico, you need to tell like your generation to, it's not even funny. Like you guys need to run for office, right? The reality is that a lot of the stuff that we're dealing with now are things that Trump put in place during his presidency more than 4 years ago. But because again, like Tai is saying, things go at a very slow pace. And now we're feeling the effects of that. We need new blood. We need people to run for office and to run for our human rights, right? And to also look and represent us. For us to look and say, hey, there's a black or brown or a gay person that's up there running for office. We need all of that.
Right. Right. And whether or not Biden's doing it fast enough or doing enough, he is doing stuff.
Yeah.
Again, we can argue about the time and the place and how long it takes, but there are things moving in the direction that we want them to move in with him.
Yeah.
And I think that's the course we have to stay, because that's the only course we have.
Are we at a place where like it's boo-boo to ask somebody if they're voting? You know how you don't talk about religion, and like during like the Trump, during vaccines, you didn't like get into those conversations because you didn't want to get mad at people. You know what I mean? So like now, like, are we at to the point where it's like a little disrespectful to ask somebody if they're going to vote or not?
Well, I don't know.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not yet. I know they stop us in college and like, hey, are you voting? Or are you registered to vote? So as of now, it
should not be anything
normal.
that we're hiding.
Yeah.
It
still is a civic duty.
Yeah. Say it loud, say it proud, and go vote. All right. Thank you, Tai.
Next, let's queer up trans rights. New Biden rules on bathrooms and pronouns seeks to trump hate-filled state laws. Starting this fall, school districts not honoring transgender and non-binary students' pronouns or restroom choices may face federal civil rights violations. The U.S. Department of Education's new Title IX rule aims to combat sex-based discrimination in public schools. In a briefing with journalists, Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona underscored the administration's commitment to upholding Title IX for inclusive, rights-driven schooling. He also emphasized the Biden-Harris administration's dedication to fostering inclusive educational settings. Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights, Catherine Lemon, highlighted the rules will align with the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling in Boxstock v. Clayton County, recognizing such discrimination as civil rights violations. The announcement of these rules is timely, underscored by recent tragic incidents like the death of Nex Benedict, a transgender student in Oklahoma. Nex's death has triggered a federal civil rights probe into Owasso Public Schools, probing the adequacy of the school's response to harassment complaints. The Biden action is noteworthy as it puts the Department of Education on a collision course with GOP state legislations, including Florida, that have passed the largest number of anti-LGBTQ+ school changes in history. As school gears up to enact the new regulations, the Department of Education will offer resources and technical support to ensure their clear understanding and proper application. The new rules will be enforced starting August 1st. Queer News Tonight will stay on this evolving story. So again, here's an example of, the Biden administration is doing something. This is a great step to include with Title IX trans rights. And this is gonna all play out, of course, in the courts because state law and now federal law are gonna be in conflict with each other. And what will school districts do? It's unfortunate that this is going to be taxing on our school systems in ways that it shouldn't be taxing on our school systems.
Yeah.
To put schools in the middle of this debate is to ask them to do something that they shouldn't have to do.
Yeah.
Their main concern should be education.
Should be education, completely. And how do you keep LGBTQ plus youth safe if you're also not allowing them to say if they have gay parents or use their correct pronouns or dead naming them? You can't do both. You can't have it both ways.
Right.
So it's inhumane to tell a trans kid that their identity is not genuine and not truth. It's inhumane to call a trans kid by their dead name. It's inhumane to call somebody, to mispronounce someone. You don't want queer kids to get an education. You're a teacher, Tai, okay? They don't want us to be smart. They don't want our LGBTQ plus kids to be smart, and it's scary times. This is a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Completely. But it's at a snail's pace, like we were talking before. And you know who suffers? Those kids.
Yeah.
Those queer kids just trying to get an education, okay? Next Benedict. That kid killed himself.
Yeah.
After being bullied to the point of no return.
Yeah.
Okay?
Unacceptable that we live in a world where that happens.
Unacceptable. Yeah. That school, the blood is on their hands. You allowed him to die. Okay? And that is the blatant truth. And this is the world that we live in. Nico, what's next, my friend?
Next, let's queer up politics. Will GOP culture war issues sway voters in 2024 election? This is the question on many political analysis minds as new controversies emerge. Identity-based issues have taken center stage in recent years, with both parties grappling to define America's identity. From anti-transgender policies to debates over woke culture and critical race theory, Republicans and Democrats are locked in ideological battles that could shape the election landscape. At the heart of these debates are issues like abortion rights, LGBTQ plus rights, and immigration. While these topics traditionally energize party bases, some experts suggest they may not be top priority for all voters. Surveys are showing that LGBTQ plus issues are not cracking even the top 5 issues on general election voters' minds, especially voters not aligned to political parties, which account for nearly a full 1/3 of likely voters. Economic concerns, inflation, rising costs, and crime are among the day-to-day issues overshadowing the culture war discourse for the voters. Some suggest that Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis' lack of success as a GOP presidential contender could be attributed to his heavy emphasis on combating woke culture. Even Trump remarked in Iowa, saying half the people can't even define woke. They don't even know what it is. Democratic political strategist Ron Ranish said that DeSantis heavily relied on anti-woke platform, a strategy that ultimately backfired. While it's unclear how long new culture war issues will persist, experts like Robert Blizzard, a GOP pollster who previously worked for Ron DeSantis, and Democratic strategist Basil A. Smikle predicted that political conflicts over cultural matters will remain prevalent for the foreseeable future.
What do you think, baby?
So what kills me is that we are putting in just a lot of emphasis on the voting and not on, yes, we just talked about voting, but not on the day-to-day stuff like immigration and just things that actually matter. So it's very hard to understand where we're going with this. Obviously, I'm excited for the voting to happen and to get the campaigning done, but what will be next?
I think sort of at the heart of this story is something that comes, from the 60s, I think it's second wave feminism, like that idea that the personal is political. And so we're in a place where we vote, and what we vote for is essentially our own self-interest. And it's how we want to define ourselves, that tells us what our issues are. It's unfortunate that maybe we don't identify as part of our LGBTQ plus community as much as maybe we identify as someone who wants to have money.
Yeah. Oh my God, you hit it right in the head, Ty. I've never thought of it that way. And it's so absolutely true. It's like, I'm LGBTQ plus third, right? If I had to say like 3 things that I'm worried about, right? I'm worried about the fact that my homeowner's insurance doubled, right, in the last year to $5,200. I am worried that my car insurance also like doubled. I'm worried about inflation. I'm worried about the fact that I went to Publix for 3 things and it cost me $60.
Yeah.
I'm worried that gas prices are crazy. I'm worried about global warming and the fact that we're in Florida and we're going to be underwater in the future. Where do LGBTQ plus rights fall in that? Like, how do I worry about me being LGBTQ or my reproductive rights when I don't have money to eat?
Right.
That's it.
There's no good answer here.
Yeah.
That's it. Completely. Next, let's queer up travel. Visit Lauderdale celebrates Black motherhood with magic, mirth, and mortality. Visit Lauderdale invites you to delve into the profound journey of motherhood with magic, mirth, and mortality. Musings on Black motherhood at the Young at Art Museum, running until June 9th. This exhibition, curated by Shawana Brooks and Laura Marsh, delves into the resilience of mothers through visual and literary art. Admission is free with museum entry of $12 per adult or child 2 and up. Don't miss this powerful exploration of the complexities and strength of Black motherhood. Visit Lauderdale hosts programs and events like this for every community and part of the society, including LGBTQ+. Further details of the event are available at visitlauderdale.com. Visit Lauderdale, everything under the sun.
Next, we're proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
We finished tonight's Queer News headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Bears of South Florida host pool party with lunch at Grand Resort May 5th. Bears are getting ready for a splash at the May pool party on Sunday, May 4th, hosted by the Bears of South Florida. With more than 200 guests expected, the attendees will enjoy lunch, bear snacks, and bar service while soaking up the sun. Cash donations will be accepted for drinks, and a 50-50 raffle adds to the excitement. Proceeds of the event will support local LGBTQ plus organizations making a positive splash in the community. Visit bosfl.org for more details on this event promoting inclusivity and support.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up drag culture. As Queer News Tonight predicted, Nymphia wins RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! The winner of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16 is announced, and it is the one that we predicted. All right? Call us Miss Cleo. April 18th on the April 18th show. So here's what happened at the finale. Top contenders Nymphia Wynn, Plain Jane, and Safira Cristal sashayed to the grand finale of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16. After a fierce single performances, it was Nymphia and Safira who eventually battled in a lip sync for the crown and $200,000 prize. Mama Ru added a twist. The runner-up received $25,000 this time around. With anticipation mounting, RuPaul crowned America's next drag superstar. Nymphia Wynn emerged triumphant, a testament to her talent, charisma, and determination in the world of drag. LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Claudia Castillo Art Studio presents Robert Jaso, Facelessmen through May 10th. Claudia Castillo Art Studio unveils Facelessmen by acclaimed photographer Robert Jaso until May 10th. Born in Czechoslovakia, Jaso's journey as a political refugee led him to Paris, where he blossomed into a sought-after photographer for Vogue and L'Officiel. His avant-garde fusion of photography and ink emulsions heralds a new era of artistry, earning him accolades like the Florence Benali Photography Prize. You can experience his transformative vision for free at the studio on Wilton Drive's new location at 2180 Wilton Drive. Claudia Castillo Art Studio is a boutique art gallery that showcases local, national, and international LGBTQ plus artists.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up sports. Here are the LGBTQ plus athletes we'll be rooting for at the Paris 2024 Olympics. With less than 100 days left until the 2024 Olympics in Paris, LGBTQ plus athletes are gearing up to shine on the global stage. Among them are Dan Jervis from Great Britain in swimming, Robbie Mason and Emma Twigg from New Zealand in rowing, Campbell Harrison from Australia in climbing, and Arthur Nori from Brazil in gymnastics. Hello. Representing the USA, Sha'Carri Richardson is set to sprint on the track, while Chelsea Gray, Brittany Griner, Jewel Lloyd, Brianna Stewart, and Diana Taurasi will bring their basketball prowess to the games. These athletes are ready to inspire and make their mark in Paris. Stay tuned with Queer News Tonight to get all your updates on 2024 Paris.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up religion. Passover begins over LGBTQ faithful worldwide April 22nd to the 30th. As Passover begins, LGBTQ plus faithful around the globe join in the celebration of liberation and freedom. This sacred holiday holds particular significance for queer individuals resonating with themes of overcoming oppression and embracing identity. From traditional setters to inclusive gatherings, LGBTQ plus communities come together and honor their history and heritage as a queer faith community. Despite past exclusion from religious spaces, many now find solace and belonging within affirming congregations and online communities. Queer News Tonight wishes the queer faith community a joyful Passover celebration. That is today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Are you, like most of America, a part of our very large television audience watching this live LGBTQ plus news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV?
Queer News Tonight is only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight. I'm your anchor, FayWhat, and on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Dr. Tai Houser and Nico Cales. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. And to our LGBTQ plus world, we wish you good night. Buenas noches.